Let's talk about Latisha and Keith in this last episode. So we saw Keith meet up with his father. His father really picked his brain about what the plan would be if Latisha was to go to prison. And Keith's not naive. He knows that's a really strong possibility. And the thing is, Latisha revealed that she could be looking at up to 15 years. But you know, with this show, they're always dramatic. They always make it seem like that person's facing like the max possible time when it's just a small percentage that they'll actually get that time. Like Lindsay, for example, they're always acting like, oh, she could get 40 years to life. And they're just always super dramatic when it comes to people's sentences. With Latisha's storyline, it's no different. So Latisha, Keith, her daughter, and Keith's son were all sitting at the dinner table. Keith's son was talking about how grateful he is for the house and his family. And you can tell he's just a little sweetheart. Even Latisha got teary-eyed for a second. I think Latisha tries to avoid thinking about her charges as much as possible and the reality of what she could face. And it's times like that that really make her face what could happen and think like, oh my God, everything I've worked for can be ripped away from me, or everything I've stolen can be ripped right away from me in a matter of seconds, so that I get sentenced to prison. After dinner, the kids left the dinner table and Keith was sitting there with Latisha. And he's like, yeah, so I went and saw my pops, and he was trying to ask me what we would do with the kids if you were to go to prison. And Latisha was like, yeah, I could be facing up to 15 years. And she's like, so I've been thinking about that. And you can tell that she was relieved that Keith brought this up, because I think this is a conversation that Latisha has been wanting to have for a while, but I think she's scared of what the answer might be, and that's why she hasn't brought it up yet. So she was like, yeah, so my oldest, she has a father in her life, so she can just go with her dad, which I'm glad she has that. But the youngest, her father isn't in her life, and Latisha had a restraining order against him for a while, and I think the restraining order had it to where he couldn't go near the daughter either. So I'm assuming the restraining order is expired, because she said if she goes to prison, it's a very high possibility that he could come and try to take the daughter. Latisha was just sitting there rubbing her upper lip as she's sitting there thinking about what they can do. And I have a feeling that's the same thing she does when she's in front of the judge. And Keith was like, you know, I don't think we need to think about that right now. We got enough going on with your court situation, and I just feel like we'll handle that at a different time. And I just feel like that's him not wanting to answer the question because he doesn't want to be held to whatever he says. So if he says he's going to do it, he doesn't want Latisha to hold that against him when he doesn't follow through in the end. And I think that his silence spoke volumes, because you can tell that he is not feeling that. He is not wanting to adopt that girl whatsoever. You can just read his body language, and you can read Latisha's body language and how uncertain her body language is giving, that she doesn't feel very confident that he'd be willing to step up to the plate long term. And I think Keith has a variety of reasons why he's not ready for that. I don't think that he feels like he's ready to become a permanent legal parent of her right now. I think he still is trying to figure out how to take care of himself. I don't think he's at the point where he's ready to take care of a whole family. I think he cares for the child. I just don't think he's ready to commit to being the legal father for the rest of her life and taking on that role, because I don't think he's confident in his future with Latisha. And I also think that he is very aware that Latisha could be going to prison, and I think he's ready to move on. I don't think Keith is feeling Latisha as much as he was when he was behind bars. I think now that he's behind or out of prison, I think he's starting to realize that Latisha was all talk with a lot of things she was selling him, and that she's not this big bad boss that she was portraying, and that a lot of the stuff that she does is just a total front off other people's money. I think he knows deep down he just wants to say no, and he doesn't want to adopt the child, because right now is the time you guys really need to sit down and figure it out before she goes to court. It's like now or never, buddy. And I feel like he knows if he said no, that it would probably create a potentially relationship ending fight, and he just wants to avoid the conflict altogether and would rather just stay quiet about it. I don't think we're ever going to get a direct answer from Keith on that one. Hell, she could be in prison calling him, asking him to do it when she has no other option. And I feel like he still probably won't give her a direct answer. And then Latisha got in her car. She drove to court. She went inside to see what was going to happen. She said she's going to take a plea deal because she doesn't want to go to trial and then use her criminal history against her. But I think what she really meant to say is she doesn't want to go to trial and then use the evidence against her. Because at the end of the day, I mean, they can use your criminal history, but they're going to use their criminal history against you regardless. She said she was going to go in there, make a plea deal. She walks out, and what the hell was Latisha wearing to court? It looked like her coochie was about to slip out at any given second, and it looked like the cameraman was trying to catch the angle for the coochie slip, you know, like the little TMZ cameraman used to do with like the celebs like Britney Spears and Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan. And so she comes out and she revealed that she put her plea in. She doesn't know if it's going to get accepted yet. They have to wait and see if the judge will sign off on it. Big shout out to Colleen Miller, the woman that Latisha allegedly scammed almost like over $11,000 from when she paid her to do accounting for her business that Latisha never did. Well, Colleen shared this post from Kiki and Kibitz talking about this plea deal that Latisha had, and it says Latisha pays $8,788 to the victim. Okay, I highly doubt she paid the victim. They probably ordered her to pay the victim, but I highly doubt it'll ever happen. I guess we'll see if it does. And they said that they agreed that Colleen will not receive restitution. Well, Colleen said Latisha can't stop her interviews with lies, so here I go. There was originally a plea deal offered after a meeting with my attorney. The prosecutors and detectives, we were promised that the plea deal was off the table. I do have my attorney and the news looking into this further. I will keep everyone updated. I have my own case against the thief as she has so many. And then she shared an update. She said my attorney said she must have rejected that back in April. Andrea is not her attorney anymore, and she got 2 new cases that would nullify any plea. Really just another con by her. She probably signed it but would not sign guilty plea, then that is no longer being offered. So just a little update on her case, and she still has plenty of other cases like Colleen mentioned. And after she found out that she is not going to be getting any time, she went out to eat with Keith and she wants to plan a wedding. So she acts like Keith promised her this big extravagant wedding, and Keith's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I don't know if Latisha's just lying to try to get this wedding. I think she's trying to get a free wedding out of Love After Lockup, and I hope they don't give her a wedding. Like, come on, we don't need another guaranteed season of them coming back just to see them get a free wedding from the show. But Keith isn't trying to do it because he's like, I know that's going to just burn a hole in my pockets. We're already married. He's acting like he never told her any of this. And Latisha's all sorts of mad. She's like, it's not going to cost you anything to say a few vows. And that's total cap, because it is going to cost something. I mean, the producers, I'm sure, will cover a lot of the wedding, but I'm sure he'll still have to pay something out of pocket. Keith really isn't trying to entertain all this wedding talk. I think Latisha just knows it's going to be another guaranteed season. That's why she wants this wedding. And I think at this point, Keith doesn't even know if he wants to still be married to Latisha. I think he's already planning his exit strategy as soon as possible. And I kind of think he's hoping Latisha goes to prison so he can go out and do what he wants to do, because he already seems like he's over Latisha's shit. Like, she should have just ended her season last season, and she could have kept convincing everybody that her and Keith are just this happy-go-lucky couple. But we're really seeing this season, like, he's not ready to adopt her daughter. He's not ready to get married to her again. I don't think he's sure about this marriage whatsoever, because I think he feels like he was catfish. Not catfish like physically with pictures like we've seen people like Monique and Ashley do. I think he feels like he was catfish like financially, and like when it comes to like stability, because she sold him this big dream that he was going to get out and everything was going to be worry free and he could just kick back and live large. But it's been the complete opposite of that. It hasn't been easy. It's been nothing but a bumpy road since he's been out, and it's one thing after another. And I think Keith thought he was done dealing with courthouses and jail and stuff like that, but now he has to deal with it because of freaking his criminal wife, the stiletto wearing felon. And I think that Keith just looks at Latisha as a piece of ass and a roof over his head and a way to be on the show for right now. But once they're no longer on the show and if she goes to prison, I don't think he's going to be sticking around anymore. That'll be the real test of their marriage at the end of the day. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.